That is, if they are mandated or they are authorized, or rather they belong to organizations that engage in language planning, if they are available, they will participate in language planning activities and ensure that that is well taken care of. And so they will ensure that the languages that they are going to choose are the languages that actually can work and they actually please them. That is what is also very, very important. Now, let's look at the purposes of sociolinguistic surveys. Now, these sociolinguistic surveys have purposes, and these purposes continue as we have already started looking at them. Now, sociolinguistic surveys are undertaken for a variety of reasons, and often a survey is motivated by more than one of these reasons, by more than one of these grounds. Some of the major motivations are as follows. The first one is language policy decisions. Language policy decisions. Now, when you look at language policy decisions, that is where people are busy making language policy decisions, that is, trying to make decisions that can work in the language. That is, in linguistically heterogeneous polities, it is often possible and often becomes necessary to decide what languages or what language varieties will be used for various purposes. That is, the language varieties are given specific roles, and for you to determine which language is going to be used for which role, there must be a decision on language policy. While language policy decisions are often made on irrational grounds, that is, often they are made unpreparedly. Decisions, presumably, are sounder if they are based on accurate and relevant information, and that is according to Ferguson, 1966. Deciding which language will be used for what function is very, very important in this case, so that the decision is rational, is well balanced, is well defended. Examples of sociolinguistic surveys for language policy decisions are many. Here, I'll give you only two examples. Just two examples. Now, these two examples are drawn from the works of different organizations in different countries, and I'll give you only two. One, in Mexico, take for example, the work of the Summer Institute of Linguistics in Mexico, as reported by CASAD in 1974, was faced with the problem of choosing among various vernaculars for Bible translations and literacy campaigns. That is in Mexico. That is according to the report by CASAD 1974. There was a problem of Bible translation. There was a problem of literacy campaigns. And this was sorted out by the organization, the Summer Institute of Linguistics, to try to work it out as to how the Bible translations would go and how the literacy campaigns would also go. These were issues to do with the policy decisions. The second one is the survey of language use and attitudes towards the language in the Philippines. the survey of language use and attitudes towards language in the Philippines. And this is as reported by Sibayan, 1975, Sibayan, Gonzalez, and Otens, 1975, and Tucker, 1975. The results of the survey were that the Bureau of Public Schools Directors order permitting the use of Filipino as a medium of instruction in the first grades of schools located in non-Tagalog speaking provinces. What are we trying to say here? The Bureau of Public Schools Directors order, it permitted the use of Filipino. This bureau permitted the use of Filipino, made a decision that Filipino be used as a medium of instruction in the first grades, in the first classes, that is in the Philippines, in the areas where Tagalog was not a main language, that is in the non-Tagalog speaking provinces. Filipino had to be spoken, had to be used. Now, the other purpose is program planning. So the sociolinguistic surveys will also serve the purpose of program planning. Once a language and a language policy has been formulated, whether or not on the basis of relevant data, it must be implemented. And the planning of the implementation often requires basic information about the language situation among the people with whom the policy is to be carried out. The work-oriented adult literacy project in Ethiopia, for example, the work-oriented adult literacy project in Ethiopia, just for example, was sponsored by the United Nations Special Fund and by the Ministry of Education and Fine Arts, where the project's job was to determine the potential effectiveness of adult literacy campaigns based on vocationally oriented teaching materials. Because the medium of instruction was to be Amharic as a language here, Amharic as a language here, the program planners had to know what proportion of the potential learners could understand Amharic. This is very, very important. You cannot just implement a project without actually trying to understand who are the beneficiaries, who are the actors. There is a need to do that. So in program planning, you have to be aware of what will it be that will go into the program and how will it be carried out, who will be the participants. That is why this example fits in very well of Ethiopia, where a program is made and the participants are well specified. And then what will be the object? That is the language, and that is Amharic. And who are going to participate? This has to be made very, very clear. Then let's look at another purpose. The other purpose is evaluation of language policy. So sociolinguistic surveys can be used to evaluate a language policy. That is, a language policy has been created, a language policy has been implemented, and then you might try to examine the effectiveness of the policy. How far has it gone? How far has it achieved what it intended to achieve? You can mount a sociolinguistic survey to find out that kind of information. And so, This can be conducted to see whether other programs are working or being effective. Now, for example, program planning and implementation, where one of the best examples of a survey designed to evaluate the outcomes of a language policy is, for example, by McNamara. That is McNamara's study of Irish children's achievement in school.